Okay, following on from the other post that I've done, I'm just going to say, look, I'm going to touch on really quickly on, okay, just two of the courses. So the interior decoration design and the fashion design. Um, and because, look, there's a lot of posts there that you can actually view my work that I've done. It all, I mean, there's a lot of proof that backs everything I've set up. And why was well, why did certain people or groups or organizations for that matter feel the need to interfere in my life in the last 7 years? The interference cost me everything in damages, cost me my career. So this is where I say there has to be legal avenues. So the only thing anyone wants to help me with, I need a really good barrister. I need this to go for that. It has to be a legal avenue to pursue against certain people, groups, and organisations over the last 7 years. I said in 2015 I was lied about. It should have been shut down then. I explained things in 2016. What I explained wasn't noted down. So anything I have actually stated, and actually anything I've stated over the course of the last 14 years has not been noted down at all. So I'm actually the only person that has not been listened to regarding my life myself. So who else to know me better than anyone else? Yet I'm the only person that was never listened to at all. So those that interfered, I would like to see it go criminally, especially when it's been interference from my mother's side of the family. I'm not close to my mother's side. And as for my dad's side, look, what would they know? I think the whole thing is ridiculous. If you want to know something, you come up to me and you ask me and I'll tell you, and that's it. And I need to be able to move forward with this amount of damage, because it actually has now taken 7 years of my life. I didn't do it. I've asked for certain behaviours towards me to stop, and those behaviours didn't stop, so therefore I want those people responsible to be arrested for it, which I'm in my legal right to ask for in a democracy, because we are meant to be a democracy. We're not anarchy. This is not the Wild West. This is a democracy. What was done towards me was illegal, and there should be legal repercussions to those responsible. Whether you're trying to hide behind a group or organisation, it's not going to work. So I have studied. So what I was doing, like studying and so forth, that's what I'm getting at. There is no correct. I actually asked an ex-partner of mine, Giovanni Consalvo, to tell the truth in 2016. He was very reluctant to do that because it meant falling on his double-ended sword. And he's not going to. I think the whole matter should be heard in front of a magistrate and legally. Straightforward questions, straightforward answer. That's it. What was Justin doing? Well, yes, I was. Yes, I used to be a VIP host at Star Casino. That's past. Yes, I did actually, initially, and I'll just touch on that very briefly because it's only a very tiny part of my life. I'd always studied art and design first. That was going to be my career, art and design. However, it was expensive to get into in the 90s. So then I just grabbed the job in hospitality to pay for my art and design. Yeah, as you do. So I actually, in 1996, I'm studying fine arts. In 1997, I'm studying design. Now, it being expensive, I grabbed the job in hospitality. Then I worked my way up and I started doing hosting, so hosting events. And I actually like the whole design aspect of hosting events. That was in 1999. There's actually a newspaper article on me in 1999 when I was hosting the Millennium Ball. I wasn't hosting it alone. There was other hosts doing it. It was a hosting an event, a function and event. Now, the area I was in 1999, I wasn't in Sydney. I was traveling, so I have traveled around. I am from Sydney. I've traveled around. I'm very, with what I've seen in life, I've always traveled, and so I'm not really interested in traveling now. I've done that. That's what I tell people, when they want, oh, you should go and do this. So why would I do that again? I have spent my life traveling. I'm not, that's not me. What's me is financial district of New York City. Staying put with a massive big apartment, and half of it can be used as an art and design studio. Now that is me, and that's my dog, which is right here next to me, but you can't see. Anyway, move that down. Anyway, so yeah, no, traveling doesn't suit me. I hate it. So I did. So I was traveling back home towards Sydney. I stopped off in the area that my mum moved to from Sydney. So mum has a horse stud in another area. We did have a horse stud in Sydney. We had in 30 minutes from the city we had land. You know, so anyway, and people used to have horses in the city back then. I mean, a lot's changed in the last 20 years, but everyone's got to remember the way things have been after Sydney 2000 Olympics was not what it was before. We were, yes, and always a very busy 24-hour city, that's correct. But you could leave the city and go to Homebush Bay, and there was all horse studs and stables in Homebush Bay, which now it's massive, huge high-rise apartment buildings. So I'm just going to put now, just that's food for thought there. All right. So again, so the hosting side of things, yeah, I did start that in 1999. The one of the ladies who I work with there, one of my bosses, so Caroline Wright, she suggested you want to get to the casino. Go down, because I was moving back to Sydney, and she goes, go and apply for a job at the casino, be a VIP host. So I did. In the year 2000, I did. I was working in other areas in the year 2000 again, still working on my art and design, but I had to pay bills. I've been living by myself since I was 16, 17. Still, I was actually managing a martini lounge in 1999 and working a second job in a nightclub. I was 21, so... anyway, so I got the job at Star Casino. I'm just going to touch on this. I actually got the job back in the year 2000. I had to go through the Casino Control Authority back then in the year 2000. Now, I'm trying to think of the lady who did the interview. She was Egyptian, remember? Now, I applied for the VIP host position there, and she said they're only accepting internally. So there is no jobs available for external. You have to get a job internally. And we told everyone to start in gaming, get a bit of knowledge of gaming, and then we'll transfer you to hosting. That's what happened. So I actually did. So I didn't start at Star Casino until March 2001 because I actually went to America in January and February of 2001. So I went and traveled around already, America, LA, everything. So which is something else that's really weird because in the last 7 years, there were some people that thought, almost like this weird Make-A-Wish Foundation. Oh, it's dream to go to America. I'm like, no, I've been to America. I've got a green card. This is really weird. This creepy, weird stuff that some people in the background are making up about me that don't even know me. It's like, no. My twin sister lived in America, and I was there holidaying in January and February, those 2 months of 2001. I saw a lot of America, saw a lot of the West Coast, and when I saw a very small part of the East Coast back then. I saw Washington, D.C. and Stafford, Virginia, and that. But I saw, San Francisco, LA, like Palm Springs, everything back then. And then, New York was where it was always more suited for me. And I really looked around New York a lot in 2013 when I was there. But anyway, so started as a VIP host. Worked into VIP host at Star Casino. So I did that. So that was my career. So I'm going to say, yes, VIP hosting was my career. That's right, it was. But I never stopped my sight of my art and design work. So I never put that was never really even on the back burner because I was still doing things with that. Which again in 2009 I went back and studied. 2010 I went back and studied. So I didn't really stop the art and design side of things to do with me at all. So let's just jump straight into this now. I've talked too much about that. Okay, the credit that I received at Enmore Design Centre, there we go. So that's from TAFE, New South Wales. So research and apply techniques for design of wearable objects in fashion design. Now I'm going to touch really briefly on that. So that's the pass and the credit that I received there. Really briefly, I'll touch on that, and then I'll touch on the other one as well. Looking at time. Okay, so then the year after, it's affiliated with Enmore Design Centre, TAFE College, but I actually went to Coco Republic, and that was for interior decoration. So another design course there, completed interior decoration in 2010. So then I actually focused on both those. And look, yeah, I loved fashion design. Don't get me wrong, I really loved it. I cannot stitch to save myself because I'm not a seamstress. I'm not a dressmaker. So Julia, here's actually some of my, some of the courses I studied in 2009. Anyway, so Julia, and who's the other guy? Anyway, but basically, because I wasn't a seamstress, I said that to the teacher. As long as I went through the entire, because it's a design course, it's not a sewing course. So it's a design course. So as long as I went through and did right through to patterning, you know, they had to all be marked in class, then I could take my patterns to a dressmaker and have my design made. It'd be like me designing a piece of furniture and then taking the templates and specs to a builder and making that. Same thing, which I have done. Okay, so I did that. But the kicker here with that is, Julie's like, but they can't. It has to be from your pattern. They can't be from another pattern. So which means they'll look at my pattern, look at the finished product. It has to be made as per my pattern. They can't alter the pattern. Once the pattern was marked off in class with Julia, that was it. That's the pattern that your design is going to be made from. You can't order it. It's being marked. Then they look at the design and they look at the pattern and it matches. I got a credit for this in fashion design. It was for Framed Production in 2009. Really quickly, look, and so I'm going to touch on it because there's stuff here that, like, I was very basic when I first started fashion design. There's some basic stuff. You can see there's handwritten notes here from my teachers. You know, tell me what they liked and what I need to improve on and so forth. And, you know, so, you know, just, let me just, without lifting this up, we're getting it all out. So there's, you know, then there's a lot of handwritten notes. Look, I'm not going to show too much because it actually is already there. I've actually posted these designs up and then of course to the finished product. So you can already see this up there on my page. And, you know, even where I've actually did set design as well, you know, other parts, there's, you know, graphic designs, you know, I had to do. So there's a lot. There, more than enough without getting into that. And at the same, I haven't got all my interior design work up there yet. I'm still working through that to do that. But for example, okay, here's some work I did with interior design. Okay. So interior design, right? Now that was that was just a very brief course. I did at Coca Republic, which is affiliated with Enmore Design Centre. And so I, you know, passed that. Yeah, interior. So what did Justin do? Yeah, he went back. He was studying design. Like I said, if these people didn't interfere in the last 7 years, my life would be much further advanced than what it is now. And I couldn't believe that these people got away with this legally. There is other works here. I mean, look, this is just me, you know, learning perspective drawing. I've got stuff everywhere, like with my studies. I've been studying non-stop, which is again why I say the lies about me don't make sense because, you know, I wasn't even there, you know. More stuff to do with perspective drawing and so forth. Look, I'll end up putting these up. Don't want to do. Oh, here we go. Here, what I had to do. God. Well, this is more interior design stuff. I'm just going to quickly hold this one up. I'll take photos. So, like, even to draw blueprints, I had to learn how to do blueprints and so forth, and that's all part of the course. And I did that. So I went back to school, studied, I passed, and then I got extreme defamation of character and extreme slander that you would say would be absolutely criminal for 7 years and had to put everything on hold for 7 years. But now all of my studies and my work is obsolete. So the only way that this should be heard is as a criminal legal matter towards those responsible, those people, those groups, and those organisations. You can have a look through all the photos here. Like I said, like I've got so much I could display up there, but there is already. I will endeavour to upload some more of what I've done with my studies and my works. I mean, you can see the furniture designs I've done. So you can see what I've done there, what I learnt in 2010 to do, and even in 2009 to do with product design, and then how I implement that when I was working for Steve. So these are just some of like little sort of designs I've done and so look, they're all up there. But you can see the sofa I did for Jamie Wright. I've got that. So Jamie Wright actually had a shoe shop in Double Bay, and I designed the one-off sofa that went in her shoe shop. That's my design. I designed that in 2010. So when these idiots started to involve themselves in my life with wrong information in the last 7 years, I said straight away, this is going to cause me a lot of damage because you've got incorrect information that's not true. And where you've gathered from, you've got unreliable sources. So whatever organizations even had harassed me, they were getting information from unreliable sources. None of it was true. I didn't get listened to, so tell me why this matter shouldn't be going legally. It damaged my life. It should. I studied, I worked, I did the hard work. I got slandered, I got lied about, and I've had so many issues caused in the last 7 years. If anybody wants to help me at all, I need help with a really good barrister, a really good solicitor that can help me resolve this and get it moving forward. Why should I wear the cost and damage of other people's mistakes in my life? It shouldn't happen. In actual fact, I want to say it should be illegal, but in actual fact, it is illegal what was done towards me. It's very illegal.